And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're going to take a look at a trick-taking game called Think Ahead, which is something that we often say to the young people or to ourselves. You need to think ahead, to look ahead, to be prepared. Well, okay, maybe I'm reading too much into this. Let's take a look at the game itself. In Think Ahead, we have what appears to be a regular deck of cards, but it is not, because as we turn them over, we'll see that it has a solid suit and a hollow suit, essentially. So this is the Ace of Clubs or the Eight of Clubs. This one, for example, is the Eight of Diamonds or the Ace of Hearts. And here we have the Ace of Diamonds or the King of Clubs. So you can see each card has something that's two. For example, there's the Nine of Diamonds and the Three of Spades. So pretty simple. Now, what players are doing is very easy. This is a trick-taking game. And there are 6 rounds of the game. And each round, players will get 2 cards for whatever number round it is. So in the first round, you get 2 cards. In the second round, you'll draw 4. Third round, you'll draw 6, then 8, then 10, then 12 cards. So let's say it's round 4, and I draw 8 cards from the deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One card is turned over for everybody, and the full colored suit is the trump. So trump here is diamonds. I then look at my hand, and I will sort them according to the solid colors. So I look, oh wow, thanks a lot. I don't have any trump at all. Terrible. So I look at these, but then I remember life isn't as bad as I thought, and here's why. Well, actually it is. But here's why. Because I'm only going to play 4 of these cards. After I play 4 of them, or half of them each time in each round, then we switch this over, and now clubs will be trump, and also everybody will flip their hands. So as I'm playing here, I say, okay, so I play the queen, and it's a regular trick-taking game that whenever you play a card, whoever leads with a card, everyone else has to play suit, and whoever plays the highest card of the suit led wins, unless someone plays a trump color. You can play a color that you don't have, a color that's not the color led, if you don't have any colors of the color that's led, and trump will win, and the highest trump will win. So you play cards, and then whoever wins each set of cards that's called a trick, you will take those tricks and set them aside, each worth 1 point. After 4 of your cards, or half the cards in your hand, have been used, everyone pauses, you flip them over. Now clubs is trump, and I look and see, now I got an ace of, I have 4 different cards in my hand. So what you're essentially doing is, as you're playing cards from your hand, it's a very normal trick-taking game, as straight as you can get, a point per trick taken, and you're just trying to have the cards of trump or high cards, period. But you're also looking ahead, because halfway through the round, this is going to switch, and so you have to be prepared and be ready for looking at the bottoms of your cards, or the hollow parts of your cards, to see which ones you might want to save for the second half of the round. That's it. You play rounds equal to the number of players, and whoever has the most points, the most tricks won. I'm sorry, you play 6 rounds. 6 rounds. After 6 rounds, whoever has the most points is the winner. It is interesting where you start out and you have 2 cards. So let's say this was the first round, and I see that trump is going to be diamonds at first and then clubs. Well, that doesn't help me at all. So I might decide to keep, which one am I going to keep? I'm only playing 1 of them, and then the second one I'm going to play on the hollow side. And then in round 2, now I have 4 cards, so now I have to decide what I'm going to do. So it's interesting. The game certainly gets more interesting as each round progresses. Think Ahead is not a bad game, although it's interesting. You play the high-low poker with it also. The flip sides of these cards is an interesting idea. Like I said, it gets much more interesting in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round when you have 8, 10, and 12 cards. First round, 2 cards, kind of, but you don't get that many points for those rounds either. So it's kind of a way to introduce yourself to thinking ahead, the way that the game progresses. I like it. It's interesting. I think it'd be more interesting if it just had a certain number of rounds where you basically dealt out the whole deck, so you could sit there and know which cards are in the game. And it could get fairly thoughtful at that point, and I think that I might try to play it that way, where I just hand out the straight number of 13 cards each turn to players, and then play, half the cards one way and half the cards the other way. So it's interesting. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to get it. The dual-sided cards are nice. They look like an ordinary deck of cards and just have 2 suits on each card. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of waffling on this. I play a lot of trick-taking games over the years, and there's some really cool ideas and some ones that, aren't okay. This one's kind of in the middle. It's a neat idea to trick take and then flip the cards and to trick take again, and that whole idea of thinking ahead works. But it just isn't spectacular, and when you're done, you're like, oh, that was interesting, which isn't a bad thing for a game, but sometimes I want a bit more. This doesn't have the bit more. This is just straight up okay.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door!